Hey, what's up everyone? Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids. Thanks as always for checking out the videos. Today we're going to be talking about this, which is my urban survival / get home bag. First, let me give you the intro on what I'm thinking when I put this bag together. So there's scenarios like when Hurricane Sandy hit New York, where you need a bag that's going to get you through quite a long time. Or you want a bag that you can throw in your car and get out of town and have a lot of gear to live on, as you exit town for who knows how long. This bag is not built around that type of scenario as much as if you're in a city and something goes down and you got to grab a bag maybe from your office and get out. So I'm thinking about like people who were in New York City on 9/11, public transportation was shut down. I'm thinking about people who are in Boston during the Boston Marathon bombing, that they could get out of town, but there was a lot of chaos and stuff going on in the midst of that. So let's say that you had driven your car down to the bus station and taken a bus from that bus station into, your office, and it was a 10-mile ride on the bus. Well, if public transportation shut down, you could still get back to your car, but you got to hike 10 miles to get there. So what do you have in your bag that could make that trip easier? Or, what if there's a mass of people and they say, well, you can't leave this area because one of the bridges is out or something like that. Well, do you have something that could sustain you for 24 hours, 36 hours until you could get out? Now, I'm not talking about like a, apocalyptic end of the world scenario. I'm talking about something that could legitimately really happen. When you think about things going on in the world now with these crazy people who are getting trucks and driving into crowds of people, well, if there's a chaotic situation like that, do you have some gear with you, say in the office, that you could grab and get off the X, as they say? So that's the scenario that this bag is built around. Let's take a look and see what's inside. Let's talk about the bag first. This is made by a company called Birchilli, and it's available on Amazon. I've got links down below in the description section. They contacted me and said, do you want to check out one of our bags? And I thought this would be great for an urban survival get home bag, 72-hour bag, because it definitely fits that gray man type of look. So it doesn't scream tactical. It doesn't scream I've got all kinds of weapons or gear or, bug out equipment on it. It looks like something I could be carrying my laptop in. So it's going to run you probably around $50. There are a couple different sizes, lots of different colors. If you want more of a backpack style or a sling bag style, they do have a pretty broad array of options. Let's look at the dimensions here. So end to end, we're looking at about 17 inches. Your height, just about 10 inches. And then your depth, depending on how full it is. Right now it's about 9 inches, but if you put less gear in it, obviously it'll be less deep, and that all depends on what you fill it with. I've spun the bag around to the back side just to show you this loop, and I've got this carabiner attached to this loop. I've just taken it off, and I've got some gear here. Now, what I'm going to do in a scenario, if I've got, a 24-hour, 36-hour scenario I'm entering, I'm going to try to get as much of this gear onto me as I can so that if I have to dump the bag or I can't carry the bag, I still have the gear on me. You see up top here, I've got a reflective band. That would come off immediately and go around my wrist, my ankle. I could put it in my pocket, but now I've got something if I'm walking in the dark that could give me a little protection as far as, cars and such. This carabiner has a bunch of gear. You can see I've got a Wazoo survival bracelet that's got 18 pieces of gear in it. I have a reflective bracelet, again, just so people can see me if I'm walking down the highway. I've got a RoboCop personal alarm here. So, if people are making bad choices and I don't have a way to protect myself, I can at least get some attention by pulling this out and then putting it back in, when the scenario's over. Or, and also I should say, I've got a whistle. So all those things in this carabiner. And this carabiner actually also has right here a blade. So, if you want to get one that doesn't have a blade, you can certainly do that. But now I've got a bunch of things that this goes on one wrist, this goes on the other, this goes in a pocket, this goes in a pocket, and I've got a carabiner as well. And now, again, all this stuff is on my person. So even if I have to ditch the bag, I've got a bunch of stuff with me already. Just like the other gear that I'd be putting on my person so I wasn't totally dependent on the bag, in this pocket I've got, let me take this out here. This is a VanQuest organizer, and I want to show you the gear in here because I would basically take this whole thing and I could put it in a pocket, certainly a jacket pocket. If I had a large pocket or a cargo pocket, I could store it in there. And then even within here, I would take some of this gear out and put it directly on my person. But, once I get that initial gear from the carabiner on me, I move to this and put this on me, and then I'm ready to rock and roll. So even if I do have to ditch the bag, I do have quite a bit of gear. Opening up the VanQuest organizer, the first thing you see is this. And these are made out of grivery, and you slide these in between your laces on your sneakers or your shoes. And now if you got into a situation where you needed to get somebody away in self-defense, you know, kicking them with the soft top of a shoe or a sneaker is not the same thing as these. These definitely will let somebody know you really mean business. So it's a simple thing. You can slide into your sneaker, your shoe. It's out of the way now, and you've got an added level of self-defense. Continuing on with the self-defense theme, we've got this item. Again, I can take this out, throw this right into my pocket. It's a self-defense tool. So it's, again, made of grivery, very hard. I think both these things are made by a company called Fury. So, you know, let somebody know you mean business. You can hook with this. You can hold it this way. Again, just slide this into your pocket. It's super lightweight, but very strong and durable. Another self-defense tool. And then we've got over here some pepper spray. And again, this is, yeah, by Fury is the company. And you got pepper spray, and then you've got a very sharp pointed end, and then you have a more rounded end. So again, you've got the pepper spray and then a self-defense tool. I would just throw these things into my pocket so I had them. And I've got, you know, if I've got a jacket on, I've got a pair of jeans on, I've got a bunch of pockets now. This stuff is actually on me. Down on the end here, you see a Leatherman Wingman. We do have a knife there. We've got over here some scissors. We also have the pliers, obviously, so lots of tools on the Leatherman Wingman. I like these because they are spring-loaded pliers. So you got a multi-tool, which can serve, obviously, in a variety of different ways. I decided to take this knife. This is from CRKT. You can look at it and see, yeah, that seems like a pretty aggressive-looking knife. This is the Shizuka no Ken, and this thing is obviously got, you know, hints of kind of the samurai sword look for a, you know, for a small knife. But it's very solid. It's got good lockup. I'm not thinking about, you know, an EDC knife that I'm going to be using for 4 or 5 weeks without sharpening it. This is just to get me home. Got a Bic lighter here, obviously, if you need to get a fire starter or something like that. Down in here, I've got 2 fire starting options. So, you know, in an urban situation, who knows? You may be staying overnight and you want to cook something. All right, well, now you got this. You may be making a fire just to stay warm, even if you're with some other people. Now you can be the guy who helps out and keeps people warm. I've also got down in here a couple more fire starters and then some cash. Again, as soon as I get this bag into my pocket, now I've got some cash on me. You could take this out and put it somewhere else. You could take this out and, you know, take the cash out, put 20 in one pocket, 20 in another pocket. I've already thought through the idea of ditching cash to get someone away from you. I'll talk through that a little bit more in a minute. That's everything on this side. And then over here on this side, we've got the Phoenix EO5. I've got this light, and this is from Nextorch. Let me see if I can get that out. There it is. Nextorch TA10, and the reason I chose this one, it's got high lumen output, but it takes a variety of batteries. So you can use CR123s, AA's, AAA's. Yeah, so I love the fact that, you know, if I run out of batteries of a certain type, well, now I can swap out some other ones, and I still have a light. I'm not dependent on just one type of battery. Chapstick, obviously for chapped lips, but also it's petroleum based, so you can start fire with this. And then we've got a Schrade survival pen. You can certainly use this as a self-defense tool, like a Kubotan. It's got a whistle, and it's got a fire steel in here as well. And then it's got down here on this end is the striker. And let me just show you real quick in case you've never seen it before. The fire steel is down here on this end. So yeah, just another way to get fire started, to signal. And these are all things that you could, you know, keep in this little case, this little setup, or put this, you know, put this in your pocket. It's a kind of a big, goofy looking pen, but it's a pen nonetheless. So it's not going to attract a ton of tension like maybe some other items would. Last thing I have here, which was in the back section, is just a Right in the Rain pad. This is a sample I got from Going Gear, but great to be able to take notes, write things down, and leave notes for somebody if you had to do that. We're looking down at the top of the bag. I want to show you this one last item that I would take out of the main section of the bag and put on my person, so I had it immediately with me, and it's this. It's called the Cargo Cuff. It's made by Wilderness Tactical Products, and essentially this goes around your ankle, and you can see all these different pockets that you can store gear in. So I could put some of that gear that I just showed you in this. I could put additional gear in this, and again, now it's on my person even if I have to ditch the bag. Also here, I want to show you this. I've got some cash. This is, as I open this up, $5, $6, $7, $8, and $9. Okay, so it's $9. The idea is I put this in my pocket, and if someone comes up and says, hey, give me your wallet, I can take this, toss it behind them, and then I can get away. That's not going to guarantee victory every time, but it's a good way to get some distance between you and someone who wants your money. If you talk to anybody who does tactical training, you know, one of the key things a lot of those trainers say is you want to de-escalate, you want to get out of the situation, you don't want to go running headlong into it. So now I still have my cash I showed you before to actually use, but now this is on me. If I have to ditch this to get somebody away from me, they can take the money and I can turn and get some distance between me and them. So this cargo cuff, one last item that I would actually put on myself, allows me to have gear on me. The VanQuest organizer was in this pocket. This pocket's now totally empty. In this other front pocket, you can see red, that's for medical. I got my Wild Hedgehog Tactical First Aid Kit. I've added a couple things to this, but just right from the company, this is a great first aid kit. So we got ways to stop bleeding, a SWAT tourniquet, gloves, we got Neosporin, I've got some acetaminophen and ibuprofen, Band-Aids, burn gels, other things like that. So a very basic kit, but it is going to do the job, and it's not just some cheap, you know, I picked it up at Walmart and it's got 800 different Band-Aids. This has things for more serious bleeding as well as just bumps and bruises. So that's my med kit in this front pocket. I've got the Cold Steel Pocket Shark, just a, again, it could be used as a self-defense tool, but also just a marker. If I had to take notes or write something, I could write notes on my skin because this marker doesn't wear off very easily. Last thing in this pocket is the door jamb. And essentially what you do is if you want to keep a door open, you're going to put this over the handle and then put it over the latch and then put it over the other handle like so. And now the door's not going to lock behind you. So super lightweight, slips in there, but could be useful in an urban scenario, you know, just to make sure that you don't get locked out or locked into a place. So yeah, door jamb. That's everything in these front two pockets. And as you saw, I mean, they hold quite a bit of gear. So, you know, you get the snaps and then you have the buckles and the magnets that go over top of that. So keeps it nice and organized. I do like the size of those front two pockets. They're not so small you can't put anything in. They hold a good amount of gear. We also have one pocket on each side, so one here and then one on the other end. Down in here, I've just got a beanie. So you say in the middle of the summer, no big deal. You know, you won't need to stay warm, but it gets cold at night sometimes, so it's good to have this. And this is also reversible, so just brown, kind of low profile, but then real tree underneath. So if you wanted to go, you know, especially camo for some reason, you could do that. If you just want brown, you can wear this. And again, this says Duck Commander. To me, that doesn't scream law enforcement, military, tactical, bug out, survival. It's, you know, something I could probably pick up at Walmart. So that's why I chose this hat. Down here on the other end, I've got my little fire starting kit. I'm keeping it in a plastic bag. I've got live fire. I've also got a bunch of dryer lint that I could put some of the chapstick in, and that's going to start a nice fire. I've also got waterproof matches there with the striker on top. So here we have another way to get fire started. We're going to head into the main section of the bag now. Let me show you some of the food I have. Got some trail mix here. I got 2 of these Gatorade whey protein bars. I got them because of the protein, but also the overall calories and the carbs as well. So some food there. I got some beef jerky back here. All these things relatively compact and lightweight. I think I have one more. Yeah, I have the Epic Chicken Sriracha bar. Just got this today from Spec Ops Global, so I added it to this bag. So we've got a bit of food there. I've got another MRE on the bottom. I'll show you that in a minute. In addition, if I had to acquire some food, I've got a rat trap. Now, you could catch a rat, you can catch a mouse, you can catch a squirrel, you can catch a chipmunk, a lot of different things. You want to make sure that you take a piece of that paracord and attach it to this, and then make sure this thing is secured so you don't sort of catch an animal and have it walk off with your trap. But in an urban situation, you know, there's parks, there's animals, there's all kinds of things around. Make sure you know what you're doing as far as, you know, what you're trying to catch, and you get the right thing. You don't want to catch yourself a raccoon or injure a possum or something like that. But there you go, rat trap, an option to acquire some more food. I've got a bag here that I will go into. Again, that's kind of a organizational system within the bag. I do have this J-Tech bag, and this is basically a collapsible bag. So if for some reason I find some things I need an additional bag, I've got this as a shoulder bag, and then this is a backpack. So it's just a very small, lightweight, collapsible bag. Here's the MRE I was talking about. Chicken chunks, white cooked, 180 calories, 31 grams of protein, ready to eat. So I don't need to do anything to this. I can just eat it. And that's, even though it's only 180 calories, a lot of protein, and it's lightweight. Next up, you see here, I've got my Climate Cush Recon. And this is a versatile seat pad. So you can use this as a pillow. You can use it as a seat pad. I wouldn't try to sleep on it. It's too small for that. You can see 28 by 9 by 15. But the idea is if I need to get up off the ground while I want to sit and rest, and I don't want that cold to be, you know, sucking the heat out of my body or whatever, I don't want to be sitting in something that's damp. This is lightweight, small. I can inflate it and then get myself up off the ground. This is a jacket. Actually, it's a rainproof jacket. It's got some warming properties, and then it's sort of like down. I got this in a battle box. It's not super lightweight. It's definitely more lightweight than some other options I could have put in here, but it's compact. So now I can keep some water off, keep some rain off, and also stay warm as well. In this little bag, I've got a bunch of, they're called VisiPads or VisiPad, and it's a way to get somebody's attention. So these things glow in the dark. I've also got these, which are usually used for hunting. You know, you attach them to a tree and you shine a light on them, and then you can find your way back to camp. I'm thinking, you know, if I was in a place where I had to kind of, you know, stay for the night, but I had to go out and do something, I could set these up so I know where I'm coming back to. We have these bright strike, these little lights. They flash, slow flash, steady, and then off. And I've got 3 different ones in there. And then I've got a little fishing kit in here as well with a lure. You know, got to have some hooks, things like that. So yeah, a way again to acquire some food if the opportunity showed itself. Let's see what else we have. Got a Pathfinder water bottle. This can go in a fire directly if I needed to boil some water. Inside here, I have a Sawyer mini water filter. I have some Coleman Aquapure tabs, so I can, you know, if I couldn't boil the water, I could still kill Giardia and Cryptosporidia with that. And then I've got down in here a little piece of tubing, and this is great if I found some source of water or something, but I couldn't access it. At least I could put this down in to draw some of the water out, whether siphoning it or drinking it directly if it was a clean source, though that would be unlikely. So there's my water supply system. In the back section here, I've got a small New Testament with Psalms and Proverbs as well. This is from like the Gideons, and this is one of those spiritual, mental, emotional encouragement things. So, you know, you're in a hard situation. For me, this is a place I can go to and be encouraged. So, yeah, that's why I include it. Lightweight, it's small. I've also got this back here, which is a solar panel for charging. Let's say I had my phone, but my phone died. Now I've got the solar panel. It's got 2 USBs here. And so as long as I pack a, you know, a cord for my iPhone or whatever it is, I could charge it up. And again, this offers opportunity to somebody else. Maybe I bump into somebody else who has a phone. I don't have one and their phone is dead. They could charge it up with this. Then I could borrow their phone and make a phone call. Next up, you can see this orange thing. This is an SOL emergency blanket. It's a large one. It's like 6 by 8 or 8 by 10. So this is going to offer me sort of a shelter if I pop it up. And then also I could wrap it around myself to keep myself warm since there's no extra blanket in here. Got a bunch of cordage options. So I've got some small cord. This is not 550 cord, a little bit smaller. I got some wire, I got some duct tape, and I have some paracord as well. So, you know, just cordage options for tons of different things I might want to use them. Next up here, we have another cordage option in this tin. I believe the company is Bear, and I'll put a link down below, but basically it looks, you know, it looks kind of like, sort of like tape, but it's extremely, extremely durable. So just another lightweight cordage option. And again, I'll put a link. Very interesting product that these guys make. Here I have a large plastic bag, and I'm thinking if I found a water source where I could carry water, now I've got a plastic bag and I can at least carry it in. I don't need a huge container. I can use this. And then I've got a couple other tools down in here. First up, you can see, let me untangle it. I've got, this is the ice dagger from Tops. And you can run this as a neck knife. You can run it as a, you know, put it on a belt. And I use this knife, clearly it's designed to kind of be like a self-defense knife with the karambit style ring there. But I use this to carve and do a bunch of different things just to test it out. And it does a lot of things well. So it's small, it's compact, it's lightweight. You can run it a bunch of different ways. And so there's that. And then I have another whistle. So I have another signaling tool. I also have the SOG Snarl here. And this is a very small neck knife. And so what I could do is I could actually run this one as the neck knife and then the ice dagger here on my belt, and now I've got 2 knife options. Last up, as far as self-defense items, I have this, which is a baton. Here's a look at it end to end. And so we're looking at about 3 feet for this. It does have a glass breaker option here. I could take this end off if I wanted to do so. But, you know, as far as a self-defense tool, this is something I could use to keep people away from me, keep animals away from me. Here's the plastic bag I pulled out earlier. This is the Inversion Gator, and this is basically a way to keep junk from getting into your lungs. So basically kind of like a mask that you're going to throw on, and it's a neck gaiter, can keep you a little bit warm. Relatively lightweight stuff, but in a scenario where you've got, you know, junk floating through the air, this will help take out those particulates so you're not breathing them in. Got a small little camp towel here. This is some extra gear if I want to swap out the internal filter for the Inversion Gator. I got some earplugs, and you know, if there's a lot of noise and I want to cancel it out, I've got that. I've got some camp soap sheets. So those are not the equivalent of like wet wipes, but they are soap sheets to clean up. This is sunscreen lip balm, but you could use it, you know, not just on your lips. You could use it, you know, on your face, your forehead, whatever, if you had to keep the sun off. I do have this thing of massive wet wipes just to clean up, and then down on the bottom you can see I've got some bug spray to keep the bugs away. I've got one more small organizational pouch here, and inside I've got an additional lighter, and I've got actually this little metal stove that you can fold out. There's camping fuel here, and then I've got, organized in the front section here, it's squeezed in, a bunch of these survival cards from Ready Man. So there's like a lock jam set. Let me show you here. We've got the lock pick set, survival card. I mean, there's just a ton of different ones. Medical card. So all these, and I've used actually some of these fish hooks. I used it in a video I did with Blade HQ, and they actually work. And then I've got a signal mirror here as well. So those are all in this. And then once again, I got this little, let me just show it to you. Let's see what, so you can see what it looks like. This is a little metal stove, and basically you unfold it, and then you kind of twist it around and link this section together like so. You unbend it, put it down flat like this, and then you put the fuel, which come in these little gel tab or gel form in these packets. Put it on something and you put it in there, utility flame, and then it gives you heat, and you can heat something up on top of it. So super lightweight way to actually have a way to cook things without making a huge fire. You can see there is an internal zippered pocket. This is where I keep all my tech gear. I was just thinking about this earlier. I would put all this in a plastic bag just to keep moisture away from it. So we've got a micro USB cord. Got my iPhone cord that's got a USB, but then also the plug if I find a place to plug in. I've got this Nightcore headlamp, and I picked this one because this can be taken off and used as a flashlight as well. So that's I want to have a headlamp, so I got hands-free. I've got this, which is a portable charging system. So plug this into a wall, and then your USB, you can charge things up. I've got an Anchor battery, and one of the great things about this is you charge it up and leave it, and it'll keep a charge for a long time. So we've got a micro USB to charge it, and then a USB for output. And I think, yeah, one other item, which is this, so I can plug this into a car to charge up a phone or something like that. So just, you know, these are all relatively, other than the flashlight, which I really want, the rest of this stuff, and the battery, the rest of the stuff is pretty lightweight. So I can charge up my gear or somebody else's gear, and I've got some options now. Okay, we're wrapping up here talking about my urban survival get home bag. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Why don't we ask you to share one thing that jumped out to you as a piece of kit you hadn't thought of, and maybe you can also add a comment about something that you'd add to the bag as well. Thanks as always for checking out the videos. Please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids if you haven't done so already. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check us out on Instagram and Tumblr as well. More videos coming soon. Take care.